Hello everyone and welcome to another historic video. So today we're back to John the Midrange again. I am a big fan of Tarmogoyf and any deck that can play Tarmogoyf I'm a big fan of. So few new cards were introduced with Alchemy version of the Brothers War. I dare say we actually got a pretty amazing card at the cost of an uncommon. And I think this card is quite insane. If you're a fan of Expressive Iteration, well, here's a Gruul version for you. It's called Perilous Iteration, and it says you seek a card with mana value 2 or less, and a card with mana value 3 or greater. Discard those cards at the beginning of your next turn's end step. So first of all, I do think this card is quite broken. If you thought Expressive Iteration was broken, I think there's some cases where this card can be quite more broken than Expressive Iteration. Because unlike Expressive Iteration, it's not all random. Depending on how the shuffler shuffled your deck, you are always guaranteed to seek a card with mana value 2 or less and mana value 3 or greater. So you know what you're going to get to an extent. And similar to Expressive Iteration, this is a card you probably should cast on turn 3 before you play the land, because Expressive Iteration, you're usually looking for a land that you can play on turn 3. And similar to that, Perilous Iteration can do the same thing because it says you seek a card with mana value 2 or less. Lands are one of those cards you can get from mana value 2 or less. And obviously, you play more lands than 2 mana cards in the deck. So the chances of you finding a land with this card is quite high. And what's great about this is even if you play this on turn 3 and you can't play those like 3 mana or 4 mana cards, if you did find a land and you play the land that turn 4 comes in, since those cards are still in your hand to be played because they only gets discarded at the end of your next turn, you still have that chance to play those 3 mana cards or 4 mana cards. But we do play a copy of Minx and Boo, which is a 5 mana card which can't be played on turn 4. But that's like the only exception that we have. But aside from that, you can play everything in the deck on turn 4. One thing to keep in mind is it says discard those cards at the beginning of your next turn's end step if you couldn't play those cards because you really needed to, let's say like Fatal Push or Thoughtseize, then you still can actually make use of those cards that's about to go to the graveyard, because we're playing a bunch of cards that do discard, such as Liliana. We also have Fable of the Mirror Breaker, discarding a bunch of cards from our hand, and we also have Seasoned Pyromancer as well that can discard cards from our hand. And we're also playing a new card called Crucius Titan of Waves, which lets you basically discard a card at the beginning of your end step, and depending on the card that you discarded, you get to create a treasure, and you can seek a card with greater mana value or lesser mana value of the card that you just discarded. So I'm trying this card out from Alchemy as just one copy of it. I think it's pretty flexible. You can either play this card or just play another copy of Seasoned Pyromancer. But there are times where this controlled discarding and getting something out of it is pretty nice compared to Seasoned Pyromancer, and this does happen every end step, so it could go out of control. So again, going back to Perilous Iteration, we have self-discard spells in the deck, and that's something you could do to manage not having to discard something that you really want to keep in your hand, especially if you have Liliana, for instance. You play Perilous Iteration, you fetch a land so that you don't have to discard a bunch of other cards. So that's something you could do. So I'm really hoping that Perilous Iteration is good as I think it is. Because, I mean, we got some pretty sweet cards in the deck. Like, you can Perilous Iteration, try to get more Tarmogoyfs. You can Perilous Iteration, get, like, Sheoldred, or later in the stage, Minx and Boo. There's a lot of things we can grab with Perilous Iteration to really smoothen our deck so that we don't get flooded, we don't get mana screwed, things like that. As for the sideboard, this is a sideboard that I improvised from my last Jund midrange deck because there's some new decks that appeared that require the change of sideboard, such as the new Goblin decks, for instance. There's also the Ominous Traveler decks. So the first card we have in the sideboard is Fiery Impulse. It's a 1-mana card that deals 2 damage, and if there are 2 or more instant and sorcery cards in the graveyard, it deals 3 instead. So why this over something like Unholy Heat? Well, Unholy Heat is nerfed, it deals 4 damage, and Delirium is quite hard to get compared to Fiery Impulse, which only requires 2 cards. And then next up, we got 1 copy of Noxious Grasp. It can be played versus Angel decks, Elf deck, Control decks. It's pretty flexible. And 1 copy of the Nicest Hearse versus a Graveyard deck. And a copy of Go Blank versus other midrange decks, or even a Griefswing deck as well. And 2 copies of City Stalker Connoisseur versus other midrange decks and control decks. This is really good, especially comboing with the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. You can create a lock so that you put a stop at the opponent's upkeep and constantly copy the City Stalker Connoisseur so that whatever opponent draws, they have to discard the card unless they somehow draw an instant speed spell and they use that instant speed spell to get rid of your Kijiki or City Stalker Connoisseur. And next up, we got 2 copies of Heartless Act. The only reason we're playing 2 copies of Heartless Act is because of Sheoldred. Sheoldred is a must answer for this deck, otherwise you're going to lose, so we needed a removal spell that we can use freely without having to really rely on some conditions like Fatal Push. Then we got 2 copies of Brotherhood's End versus Affinity decks and Goblin decks and Elf decks. It's a pretty flexible card that lets us destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less or deal 3 damage to each creatures and planeswalkers. And 1 copy of Omnixilus. This is something you can bring versus perhaps a Rakdos midrange or control deck for sure. And this is a tech that I have just considered recently, so I don't really know the performance of this card versus the decks that I want to bring this in. And this is going to be a card for Goblin decks, for instance, since most of the Goblin decks are 1/1s and they do create 1/1s when it comes down to battlefield. I would definitely bring 2 copies of this versus Elf and Goblin decks. And there's also one deck that I'm kind of curious if it would work, and that would be the Ominous Traveler deck. Ominous Traveler happens to be a 1/1, so this is a card that you could bring. And lastly, we got 1 copy of Kalitas versus creature decks or other decks that would require their graveyard to function, such as Greasefang. But that's going to be it for the intro. We'll be testing this deck out in Historic Ranked queue to see how the deck does. And if you guys enjoyed the video so far, leave a like, comment below, subscribe, and let's hop on over. All right. Looking good. Black, red. Question is, do I bottom the season Pyromancer? I think that's what we're doing. Mono Black Devotion? Wait, hold up. Why'd they surrender that? Oh, okay. Okay, so against their deck, I think I would want Heartless Act for Sheoldred answers. Go Blank seems okay. City Stalker seems really good. I'll cut a Seasoned Pyromancers because if they do play their Sheoldred, it's not gonna be as good. Cut Inquisition. And a Fatal Push. I think I'll probably go with this. I kind of want to cut Croxa because they could play the Trespasser. They probably do. But we'll see. Alright. It's not the ideal hand, but we got the cards. What am I getting rid of? So we got double red here. But I need this if I want my mana to come in on tap next turn. Okay. Like, in case we draw something. We didn't, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
A fight? And you think you can win? Don't overthink things.
We're not in a good spot. It's either Fable or Liliana. I guess might as well play the Liliana. So we can make their devotion worse. So they don't go too crazy next turn.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
Man, that's pretty annoying.
I'm tired of your secrets. You won't be outsmarting.
Okay. We both got no cards. Okay, they just drew Phyrexian Obliterator. Conveniently.
I'm tired of your secrets.
I don't think there's anything we can do at this very moment. So let's concede. Yeah. Okay. Looks like we definitely need those Thought Seizes. And the Inquisition of Kozilek. Now we learned. The learning experience. Fatal pushes. Like, how relevant are the fatal push? Like, the things that I really want to answer are Phyrexian Obliterator and Sheoldred, probably. But I could try catching the Revolt and getting rid of it, so... Yeah, I'm gonna cut the Croxa. Get much... Actually, is it that better? We can't cast these cards, but I'm sure we'll get there. Yeah, Liliana has to go. Hello, deck? Any black sources? Any black sources? I disagree. There it is. Imagine if we were able to play this on turn 3. Would have been so good. Okay, they get a free attack, but we get to discard their Gary, so we're not out just yet. I would love to play the Fable, but we can't. I think I will...
When I win, you're telling me
What is the play here? Oh yeah, I forgot they could do that.
You won't be outsmarting me.
I think we have to pitch the Boseiju. I might even block the Evolved Sleeper if they attack, because I have another Sheldred. They got the Gary down. That is dealing 6 damage to us. Face. Really? I have to block. I do have to block. I'm gonna make them sacrifice.
I've always hated crowds.
I'll play another Sheldred. So exactly, Gary kills us. Okay, Liliana was quite unfortunate there. I guess Heartless Act was the better play.
Heard of personal space? Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Okay, that has to go.
I'm tired of your
And we'll bin the City Stalker, and we get Fable next turn. Okay, keep giving me iteration. Let's go. It's what we need.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
This is a 1-mana card. Ooh. It's not looking good. That misplay with playing the Sheldred instead of playing the Heartless Act, I think really costed me the game. It really did. I could keep this hive, but it's more than likely they will draw another creature. Okay, that's good. We need to kill that Liliana. We lost both of our life gain, right? Double Sheldred. Tough. Tough, tough, tough.
Sorry, I'm not interested in dying today.
So if our Kikijiki survives, there is a potential we can win. The following turn. Sure. They're gonna get the Gary back. Ooh. They're setting up for lethal next turn. So we need to survive here. We got one turn. Let's see it. Can they kill us? If they can't kill us, we win. Let's put a stop at their end step. Please. Okay. Moment of truth. They're thinking. We do just win here. If this sticks. Okay, it's stuck. I guess we won. They're digging. Just going all in. Oh man. That was way too close. I feel like we didn't get, like, we weren't able to play the deck too much. Man, that early mistake, my punt, when they drew Liliana and I didn't use my removal spell on the Ayara, almost cost me the game. I lost my Liliana for no reason. Right, well, we're playing against a Giganta. I don't know what that could be. Giganta with the Simic Gate. With a Simic Gate. Okay, let's go. The 0-1 Tarmogoyf. Ooh, no land? That kind of sucks. That does kind of suck. Explores. Okay, that's a lot of explorers. They'll most likely explore next turn, right? Yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate. The no land there kind of hurt the deck, hurt our start more than anything. Okay. Our plan right now is get to Ming Sen Bu and win the game. That's our plan. Gatebreaker Ram. That's fine. They didn't play their Explorer. I'm totally okay with it. So this is an instant speed. Okay, my Tarmogoyfs are growing. This is a little bit of a non-bow. We have Croxa with Tarmogoyf. This is why I didn't want to play like more than one copy of Croxa in the deck. Okay, can I get a land? That's fine, I guess. Fable is more than fine. Hydroid Crisis. So are they dead if I get a land? I think they're just dead. Okay, so we got to see more of their deck. They got a Hydro Crisis, Gatebreaker Ram, so they're probably trying to win with what is that called? Maze's End? So against their deck, we definitely want more. We probably want a copy of Noxious Grasp. Not so sure about Fatal Pushes. Maybe like a Heartless Act, City Stalker Connoisseur, Obnixilis maybe? Go Blank. One less Inquisition. Although Inquisition was pretty good. Not sure how it's going to be in my next game. Okay, we need to cut 2 cards. I think it's Blood-Tithe Harvesters, right? It's not like we have any targets to kill. They probably only play Hydrocrasis with Gatebreaker Ram. Like Arboreal Grace is like whatever, right? I think that's good. What am I keeping? I hate hands like these. I don't have. Actually, let's think about this. This is my only green source if I wanna keep the Boseiju for Maze's Hand. So I probably should do this. I actually don't have answers for Gatebreaker Ram. So let's take that, even though they can ramp. Tarmogoyf. So they got 3 gates, so Gates of Blaze is doing... I think I will actually just play Tarmogoyf instead of the Seasoned Pyromancer. I doubt they're gonna use Gates of Blaze here. Yeah. Okay, now it's kind of awkward. I actually... Yeah, this is kind of awkward. Because if I play off Nixilis, it just gets killed. This is not a gate. 1, 2, 3. I guess I could bin a land. I think I actually have to bin a Planeswalker in case they draw land. Okay, so it didn't matter in the end. Ooh, they have a Terra Sunder though. Deal with Giganta and have a board versus... Yeah, I think we get rid of the Gates of Blaze here. Even though they can just Terra Sunder our Tarmogoyf. I think that's a better trade by having 1/1, being able to block Giganta. There you go. We don't want to take too much damage because obviously we have things like Thoughtseize and they have a Hydrocrasis that can fly in the air. That Thoughtseize wasn't really that meaningful, but I think here... Yeah. The thing is, I don't want to block with the Seasoned Pyromancer with Kikijiki coming. That's the thing. Should I be greedy and not block with the 2/2? Because my thought process was that... Ooh, City Stalker Connoisseur. That is a card. So we do have the combo with the City Stalker Connoisseur soon. Yeah, I think here I think I'm blocking with the 2/2. Or actually, I don't know. Is this Hydro Crisis? That's actually what I was afraid of. If it is, we're kind of dead. Archway Angel. Okay, that is a flyer. We have to block it. And find an answer for this. Such a good card. This card is so good. Okay. Still keeping my Boseiju up. Okay, that's not good. That is not good. Interesting. Like, what could I get? Like a Tarmogoyf at this point could be nice too. Sheoldred. Sheoldred. I mean, that does... I think it is time to play the Boseiju out, unfortunately. I actually missed my timing. I just misplayed. So before this got discarded by the Perilous Iteration, I should have copied it because it's the end of my turn, right? So this doesn't get killed. I mean, this doesn't go to the graveyard. So that's a mistake I did. Okay, considering I just got another Sheoldred, I don't think this is too bad of a trade. I think this is fine. So this is a land, I believe. It's not. It's like an instant speed spell, maybe? Oh, they're trying to activate these. I see. I actually do believe this is a land, though. Give up a turn with Seasoned Pyromancer, maybe? I don't think I actually care about Liliana here. Do I? The thing is, they only played one Gates Ablaze. I feel like I should play Liliana. I think considering they dug 18 cards so far, there's a high chance the next card could be Gates Ablaze. I need to at least have a Planeswalker, right?
I'm tired of your secrets.
Guild Summit. Sure. One's got the quite deadly setup there with Guild Summit with the Sheoldred combo.
Off you go.
Come on, Boo! We're off on another thrilling adventure! Look at us! We
Okay, now they're gonna kill themselves with the Guild Summit? Oh yeah. Now they're dead too, Minx and Boo. Okay. That was a pretty tough game. I think I misplayed a few times. I think there's a couple of turns where I could have attacked with Season Pyro, but I think that was a pretty good game. What do I think about this deck? What little I played with the Perilous Iteration, I think I can already say that this card is absolutely broken. It's very similar to the Expressive Iteration. Why that card is broken? It's a 2-mana card that draws 2. Most of our cards are gonna be lands, right? So you are gonna get that land. Even if you don't, it is guaranteed that it's going to be mana value 2 or less. So what little mana you have left over, you're going to be able to play this. But unlike Expressive Iteration, you can save the mana value 3 or greater for the next turn to come. So I think that's just so broken. And especially considering it's in a deck, right? With Liliana, ditch the card that you couldn't play, or you have Crucius to, you know, ditch the card and then get another card. You do have to make sure that the stack is on top so that this effect happens first before you discard. So that can also come into play. There's also Fable of the Mirror Breaker that can discard those cards that you couldn't play. There's a lot there, but I mean, considering you're going to be playing this on turn 3 or plus probably, I mean, you should. Just like Expressive Iteration. Expressive Iteration isn't really a 2-mana card that can be played on turn 2. It's actually a 2-mana card that should be played on turn 3. But if you play this on turn 3, good chance that you're going to draw a 1-mana card and you get to play it. And then the next turn, in this deck particularly, there's a lot of 3-mana cards and 4-mana cards. There's a good chance you might draw Ming San Bu and you wouldn't be able to play Ming San Bu on turn 4. But yeah, I mean, I think what we got here is pretty nice. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys had a great time. And if you did, leave a like, comment below, subscribe yet again if you still haven't. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.